Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, you may know we did a lot of, we, meaning me, you watching, maybe, brandy the last few times, and that is not going to be around for a while, okay? And I'll tell you why. I'm going to try to set up this. It's true. I did do a lot of brandies, and I have a good amount of backstock of them. However, hold on a second. However, the last one I tried was the D.W. Anders. Okay. The D.W. Anders was obviously just a mimic of the Hartley VSOP. Same aroma, same taste. I mean, I could maybe do a side-by-side with that for some worthless purpose, I guess. But it's obviously just rebranded, like some automobiles are rebadged. It's rebranded so that Sazerac can sell that to Safeway and Albertsons stores. Safeway owns Albertsons, and they can sell it under their own label. Okay, you're not going to see D.W. Anders anywhere else. It was registered. The trademark was registered to Safeway in 2009. Okay, if you went to some other store, maybe say Publix, they might have their own some little peculiar named brandy, and it's going to probably be a similar price point. If you smell it and you get that buttered rum cake, then you know right off the bat. And it's going to probably have the same type little bottle, because Sazerac has these distinctive bottle shapes that they use all the time for various brands, and so that'll give it away. Now, it's so distinctive, and I'm not saying it's really a great brandy. It's really not that good. It's okay for the price, $6.99. So all right, but it's okay. But there would be no purpose in doing taste challenges, say, against this one, against that one. It's going to be the same result every time. This is the Hartley, that's that. This is the D.W. Anders, that's that. This is D.W. Anders, that's that. So I said, well, that's pointless. So after I exhaust all the bottle of the Hartley and the bottle of the D.W. Anders, and you say, how are you going to exhaust it? Well, you know, drink it. It'll take a good while. Then down the road, some months down the road, the intention is to drink and review the Christian Brothers VSOP and the Christian Brothers Sacred Bond brandy. And then those can be brought into play with the other ones that I still have a little backstock with, okay? And then that'll all be exhausted, and then someday we'll get to some other brands. Like, say, the Corbel California brandy, which I can get. Well, there's a whole lot. Okay, well, let's go. So now we're going to see whiskey for maybe the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months. Challenges, not reviews. I really need to drink down the back stock. There's no need to have this mania of buying everything. You cannot buy everything anyway. It's the same thing with beer. You cannot buy everything, and you're not going to. And I have a friend, David. You see him with the big beard. He does the beer reviews. I'm going to talk to him and say, look, I want you to, I think a good project for you would be to drink all your back stock down, because hoarding all the beers is even worse than the liquor, because it doesn't keep. I did that 5-year aging with beer, and it just tasted old, and I don't care if it was high gravity, 11%, it just tasted old. It didn't, yeah, it changed, but not for the better. And that was repeated cases, okay, of it, repeated attempts. The liquor is a different story. So I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to say, David, you might want to do a project for the next 5 months. Just drink down your stash, because then you're just going to waste it. It's not going to be any good. You don't need cabinets and cabinets full of extremely high quality, 20, 30, in some cases $20 or $30 a bottle, bomber bottle, caged, corked beer that you're just not getting to. So, and then all in your kitchen. And I'm not putting him down, because I can understand the excitement. You just get caught up in it and you want to buy everything. But I'm going to say do that as a project. So today we're looking at Ancient Age, and I'm going to bring Ancient Age into play against all the other whiskeys that I have. Okay. Interesting story. Started around 1946, I believe. I have the links down below to the websites for each bourbon. When this first came out, the bottle was different. Right now it's got like this Jack Daniel's mimicked bottle, which is so common. Jack Daniel's, they actually changed the Jack Daniel's bottle to give it a sharper edge because of all the mimicking going on. But when it first came out, it was mimicking Seagram's Ancient Age bourbon, Ancient Bottle bourbon. I'm sorry. Seagram's used to have a series called Ancient Bottle Gin, Ancient Bottle Bourbon. It was the old-timey, you know, that rumpled, whatever you call that, bottle texture. It's hard to describe for Seagram's. They still do that on the gin. Sometimes it's a basket weave. Other times it's little wiggly stuff. And so they call it Ancient Age with a very similar bottle. It was obviously an attempt to do a copyright trademark violation without pushing the envelope too far and getting tagged, you know, in trouble with the US government. The most interesting part of it is that the Seagram's died out. There's no more Ancient Bottle. They still have that bottle design, similar, not the same, but they don't, there's no brand called Ancient Bottle Gin, or they don't have a Seagram's Golden Gin or any of that stuff. They have different stuff today. Of course, they're Seagram's London Extra Dry Gin. You know, that's the common one. But here's Ancient Age still going along, still trying to mimic people. No longer owned by Barton, because Barton is owned by Sazerac. In 2009, Sazerac bought Barton. It's aged 3 years. This is not a blend. In other words, they don't add grain neutral spirits. It's straight bourbon. Same it's made at Buffalo Trace in Frankfurt. Same people that make Pappy Van Winkle, Blanton. Okay, this is just their cheap one. Most companies have a super high-end liquor product of whatever sort, vodka, tequila, whatever, and then they'll have a low-end. There's also an Ancient Age 10-star. It used to be aged 10 years. That changed. Now they call it 10-star, but it's only aged 6 years. So they kind of changed their. They had the Ancient Age 6-year, the low end, and the 10-year was the high end. So now this is the low end, 3 years, and then the 6-year is the high end. So they kind of did a switcheroo on people. So it's aged exactly 36 months. It's 80 proof. If you go to Kentucky, and I was there last month. Where did I put the cap? We're doing Dawn Busters, but Dawn has not quite busted yet. Anyway, attractive bottle. Kind of simple, but nice, you know. Even has the AA. If you look on the internet, old advertisements for Ancient Bottle from Seagram's, it was the same kind of medieval or late medieval, early Renaissance style. So it's pretty crummy of them to do those kind of things, but it happens, right, in the world of beer, wine and liquor. They have a 90 proof in Kentucky. Everywhere I went, it was mostly 90 proof, which around here, it's only the 80 proof. And the lady was telling me, oh, that's all we get, it's 90 proof. I did go in one store in Kentucky, and they had 80 and 90, two choices. So that's kind of fascinating. So you do get these little ripples of variation that aren't necessarily talked about on a company's website or in their brochure when they used to send out brochures. Even they gave us brochures when we were at Barton, you know, paper brochures. So, but there'll be little odd brands that aren't listed. They exist, but the company doesn't acknowledge them, sort of like Pabst and Country Club malt liquor. You know, you say Pabst, they'll say our portfolio. No mention of Country Club malt liquor. They ought to say some of our portfolio. Okay. So the 90 proof is not referenced on the Great Bourbon's website or the Sazerac website. Interesting. It might be in their specs part. If you look on Sazerac company, there's a section of specs, product specifications. It'll list everything, but it's just a written thing. It's no photos, it's just a list. Okay, same like with Heaven Hill. All right, so the appearance here at dawn. I'm going to sip on these for a while. It's still not a lot. We're talking, these are tiny glasses. It might look bigger on camera. They're not very big. And so we're talking about what? 2.5 ounces each, 3 ounces, 6 ounces. I have no need to rush through sipping these anyway. I'm all for it today. So alcohol eggs and yeah, pretty much the same shade. Just that gold slightly transitioning into copper, but various. When we did the Canadian Mist last night, Canadian Mist was straw transitioning into gold, and I had the audio problems with the Google Chrome. I don't know what, and then another guy had his problems with them too. But then William was using Google Chrome. I said, you know what? It could be an internet service issue, service provider issue with that platform. Because we all had different providers, and sometimes they'll fail. I guess we would use old-time terminology. The energy they provide is not adequate sometimes for what you're trying to do. I was going to delete that video because there was a few. Overall, I looked at it; it was fine, but there were a few little periods where my audio was very garbled. And then John and Neil said, "Don't delete it because it's going to seem like I was on there the first time and you deleted it because of me." I said, no, that wouldn't be the case. I would never do that. Not because of you, it was just technical reasons. Okay, so, all right, I have it well mixed. I can't tell them apart. They look the same anyway, so looking at it won't matter. I got the tags below. Okay, my prediction is that I'll be able to tell the Jim Beam pretty easily. Jim Beam's got the distinctive mossiness, greenwood. I've talked about that so many times. And then I think the ancient age is going to just be more standard. Jim Beam is aged 4 years, ancient age 3 years. They're both aged in first used charred oak barrels. Well, it has to be used the first time. It can't be used the second time to be called bourbon. I mean, they could just call it whiskey. So you could do everything for bourbon, follow every spec, but if you didn't age it in a new barrel, you couldn't call it bourbon. See, so it's a recipe or an algorithm with a legal basis. And we were talking on off camera, and William Kepler said he was in these discussion groups and people were saying, I don't care what the law says. I know what a bourbon is. But the law is the basis of the interstate commerce. Not to mention that the law is the basis for the international trade of bourbon. So it really wouldn't matter if you cared what the law said, because you as an individual are really essentially irrelevant to the industry. So the law matters for the industry. It just may not matter to you. You can make your own, you can define your own reality. I mean, you could say that this is not bourbon, this is vegetable juice if you want. I mean, it would make no sense, but you could sort of have a Andy Kaufman serialistic existence. And that's fine because it doesn't really impact anyone else. Well, we would hope not. So I think this is Jim Beam already because it's got that greenwood mossy aroma. Now, get one more sip. Smell. Yeah, very nice. I don't know. I think it's fashionable for people to really rip on Jim Beam. Now, we were ripping on Canadian Mist because it's so dull. Nothing bad. We never said, oh, this is bad. We just said there's nothing to it. It's characterless, essentially. And then I brought in the Heaven Hill, Kentucky whiskey, which was even more flat, even less. It was almost like inert. It was like a odorless, colorless alcohol liquid. Johnny Benavides says, cheers with the glasses clinking. Blood Raven says, what time is it there? It's 5:48 a.m. right now. Hey, oh, you're in Kentucky. No. Oh, I'm in Louisiana. What's sour mash? I don't want to get into that. You can read it on Wikipedia and it's accurate, or any of these whiskey websites. They'll describe what the sour mash process is. It's a preferred process for production of whiskey, especially bourbon, or to a large extent bourbon whiskey. They don't say sour mash for the ancient age. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, genuine sour mash, retraction. And then Jim Beam. I'm not seeing that, but that could be the case. I'm not a walking encyclopedia. Is sour mash essential to bourbon production? No, it is not. I say it's a preferred method. I didn't say it was essential. Okay. Go back to Old Crow. That's the original sour mash bourbon that we're aware of. Now this one is nice, smooth in the aroma. There is some mossiness and all, but doesn't seem to be as pronounced. I gotta say, if you're doing an aroma assessment, there is no great appreciable difference. And you're going to pay a good $3 more per bottle, generally. You might catch it on sale. But Ancient Age, you're going to probably pay $10.99 a bottle. And Jim Beam, you're going to pay $13.99 a bottle. So you got to take that into account. I mean, you figure if it's $3 more, it should be better. If you taste them and they're kind of like the same, even though one is aged a year longer, I mean, what difference does it make? Why would you pay more for something that's no better? I would not do it. And I don't care what looks good or bad at a party. I would say, look, you want to do a blind taste test? This will be a fun party game. A lot of people are reluctant to do that because they don't want to get caught not being able to tell their favorite drink. It's better for them just to make a declaration. I know my Budweiser. You want to do a blind taste test? No, I've got to go. There's a sale at Buster Brown Shoes. My kid's 10 years old. I got to go check that out. Okay. It has that minty, greenwood, mossy, that oh so distinct flavor that I find that Jim Beam has. I do think this is Jim Beam. And people say, you know, it's in the wood. Now the wood is coming out. Wood, charred wood. I think it's so fashionable to rip on Jim Beam. I don't know why. I just hear a lot of people saying it. So then it becomes like a, what they say, a meme. It's just everybody's got to hate it. You see this one. It's a little more caramel. Caramel. Oh, well, of course, there's wood. There's charcoal. All right. But it's caramel and it's a little hotter. Like it seems a little less refined, a little younger. Okay. So that would make sense. To me, you know, they both have a really nice flavor. Okay. I think they're fine. They're not world class. although neither company makes any claim to that effect, that they're world class, the best you can get. They're just saying, well, it's nice. You could buy it. You probably will like it. That's, if you look at their website and read it, that's pretty much what they're saying. We take great care. We're consistent in our quality. Here's the process we use. Here's the awards they've won. They both won awards. Ancient Age has done that, and Jim Beam. So they have that to stand behind. And but that's the general message. They're good. You'll buy them, and you'll probably like them. John Mortaker says, enjoy your drink, buddy. I'm going to sleep. Going to sleep. I just woke up at 3. I woke up at 3:45. He's going to bed. Well, he might have worked all night. I didn't sleep too well last night either. I kept feeling hot or something. I don't understand. Summer is okay, and the air conditioner works fine. Ancient Age seems to me to be cloudy or something. Cloudier. No. I don't see any difference in appearance. This has got to be Jim Beam. There's just too much of that greenwood, that mossiness. Like I said before, we have a lot of mold in Louisiana, so you get that in Spanish moss and all. So you'll get that in the morning, like if I go walking in a few minutes, which I plan to do. You get that mossy, almost moldy smell in the air, and I think that's why people around here have chronic sinus problems with runny nose. You got to blow your nose all the time, stuffy, more runny than stuffy, and like your eyes would be watering. Plus, there's chemical plants, refineries up and down the Mississippi River. That could be a factor as well. Yeah, Jim Beam. I mean, that was too obvious. So at least it lets me know that these training sessions are helping me learn. Now, the counterpoint people might make is that, no, you just want to drink at 5:30 in the morning and you're using that as a cover, as an excuse, and you're going to call it a training session and a dawn buster. Certainly a person could do that. And there would be no way they could defend it if you made the accusation, because how do you know it isn't so? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that that is what I'm doing. Oh, I just want to drink at 5:30, so I'm going to pretend that it's a training session. I'm going to try to be all scientific and talk about facts and research I did. The point I would make then would be, well, what difference would that make? You know, why would you care? If I drank at 5:30, what if I drank at 2 in the morning? Because I mean, you can believe the myth, like, oh, but the honest truth is that I like to see the sun slowly come up as I do it. I don't know why, I just like to do that. And hear the birds, you know, and especially when it's cooler, you can have the windows open, it feels nice. And it's convenient. So I can get this done, it's uploaded because it's done live, and I can go do other things, some yard work and whatnot. So it's literally a convenience issue. Could I do it at 12 noon? Yeah. Could I do it at 3 in the afternoon? Yeah, I could do it. It just wouldn't be as convenient. Like people ask me, why you do all those beer reviews at 8 in the morning? I don't drink that early. Well, that's good. Don't, if you don't care to. It's just convenient for me. And the sun is at a good angle, you see, at that time in the morning. So it's shining right. It's kind of like a spotlight shining into the yard. And it's just convenient. Danny Cunliffe says, laugh out loud. You're a morning drinker, clearly. Yes, I will go along. But you don't drink to get drunk. That is true. Now, people might say, yeah, but I saw videos where you were clearly affected by the drink. Yeah, but those were almost always accidental. They always were accidental, really. I'm serious. Yeah, a lot sweeter here. People ask me, what do you drink when you're trying to get drunk? The answer would be nothing, because I'm never trying to get drunk. I don't have that need in my life. Like, I don't ever feel like I need to get drunk, or I need, like, there's some like emotional hole or some kind of empty part of my life where I need to do that to fill that. I don't do it. I have all these sports magazines I want to read. I mean, I do things that seem to take care of I have interests, whatever. So the getting drunk part is just it was just never something I was interested in. Sitting down and writing out the football schedule. Yeah, I do that every year since 1988. I sit down literally and by hand write out the entire college football schedule for the Southeastern Conference and other Southern teams. Now that is done on purpose. But yeah, like I did the Fuller's Vintage Ale, and I drank one, and it was really good. And I thought, it was raining all Mardi Gras day, and I wasn't going to go anywhere for Mardi Gras. Nobody wanted to go. Why would they? We didn't want to go. It was terrible weather. You looked at the video coverage of the parades, nobody was there. It was just a washout. And then I drank one, and I said, the 2013 vintage, it's fine, or whatever it was. I don't feel it. And then I said, I have time. I'll just drink a second one. And I did a second video. Well, that's when things started to break down. And I wanted to make a point. It took me like 15 minutes to make a 1-minute point because I was being impacted by the ale. But it wasn't done on purpose. I just was trying to do 2 in a row. And then people were saying, he's crazy. I was reading the comments. Private messages that were being funneled back to me. Oh, he's crazy. He's like Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. I was like, if people think I'm that interested that I have to be the topic of their conversation 10 days a week, I don't know. You might have the hole. You might be trying to fill the hole, not me. But if I help fill your hole, your emotional, psychological, empty space, I mean, that's fine, I guess. I'm providing entertainment either in a good way or a bad way. Bailey's and coffee for me, says Rude Dog G. Hello, Rube Dog G. Maxwell says, hello, Ronald. Bailey's. I've never tried Bailey's, but there was a similar type item at the Barton Distillery, which was delicious. But they kept emphasizing, you must refrigerate it after you open it. Okay, all right, so yeah, it was a clear-cut, not a clear-cut winner, though, okay? It was a clear-cut differentiation. You could not miss Jim Beam. I mean, it's so obviously Jim Beam. The Ancient Age, yeah, it's just like standard whiskey taste. If I broke it down, I think there could be some characteristics I could really break out of it. Now, which one's better? Hey, you know what? It's kind of a tie, really. So I think you would do yourself a favor if you're looking to save money. And in my case, I would just get the Ancient Age. It's an okay looking bottle. Jim Beam is a better looking bottle. But I'm not paying $3 more for a better looking bottle with a metal cap as opposed to one with a plastic cap. I don't care about those kind of things. Johnny Benavidez says, have you tried bourbon cream? No, I have not. Well, is that what the Barton is? The Barton bourbon cream? It's like a chocolate drink with the Barton bourbon in it. We were drinking that. We were trying it over there in Kentucky. It was very good. I've tried that type of product, okay, at that distillery tour, but on regular rotation, no, I have not really tried it on my own volition. I haven't tried any liqueurs of my own volition. I just don't buy liqueurs. I'm a big neat person, right? I like to drink neat, because you get really the flavor of the base product. Buffalo Trace makes it. Well, yeah, that's the one we tried, yeah, because Buffalo Trace and Barton is the same company. They just have facilities all around, right? It's the same company. Yeah, they were letting us try that, and they had the little bourbon, chocolate, and pecan candies they were letting people eat with it. Oh, yeah, that was a delight. That place, and I'll end this by saying, if you ever want to go on a fantastic tourist and not a trap, a tourist event. Go to Barton Distillery in Kentucky, and then go down the highway, and it's not that far away. You could do both in one day easily. Probably do 3, could probably add another distillery. But these are free. The tours are completely free. There's no charge. That's why they're not part of the bourbon, what do they call it, the Bourbon Trail. Because part of being in the Bourbon Trail is you have to charge admission. In Buffalo Trace, Barton, which is Sazerac, they say, nah, we're not going to make people pay us to take a tour. Nah, we're not doing it. So you go tour those facilities, and they're really fairly long tours. There are different tours you can choose from if they're holding them that day. They even have one at night at Buffalo Trace, a nighttime tour, 7 o'clock, where it's supposed to be about ghosts or whatever, and there's no charge. And they're fabulous, and they let you try so much stuff. They're not stingy at all. I mean, when I went on that other tour, I'm not going to name the other one. I don't want to put down on a company. I went on a tour down in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. It was in Lynchburg, Tennessee, at a distillery. And to me, they were stingy. Like $17. I mean, really? $17 to go look at your facility? Like, you're doing me a favor. Okay. And you're saying, I bet the tour was awesome, though. The tour was like, okay. It was a bunch of rehearsed jibber jabber, if you want to be techno. All these little folksy stories that the guys are telling with their little corny jokes that are obviously rehearsed, that are not genuine. This little genuine friendly guy, hey y'all tour. I was like, man, I could see through this so quick. They got all these restrictions. Don't take a photo. Don't take a photo. Go to Barton. It's like, take everything. You can video it. You know, cameras everywhere, you know. And then what do they let you sample at the end of the tour? I swear it's like an ounce. They say, we're going to let you try 4 different whiskeys. I say, wow, 4. And then I looked at the glasses. I said, this is an insult. Little plastic cups, and they say, here's the blank blankle, and you sip it over. Great. Here's the gentleman blank blankle. Here's the honey version, which was gross. Here's the red hots version, which was disgusting. And they say, oh, you can keep the cups if you want as a collectible. Now, why would I want to keep a throwaway cup, plastic cup, as a collectible? I just threw them in the trash. And you can buy this flight board if you want, you know, the little wooden thing with the flight in it. You can go to the gift store and buy that. I'm like, yeah, I really want to pay way more than it's worth for something I'm never going to use. Okay, never mind. So I was kind of put off by that tour, honestly. Yeah, I paid $25 plus service charge for the Budweiser tour in Houston. Yeah, but it's a very long tour. It's none of that hokey, phony baloney, folksy, hey y'all tour guide. It's a real tour with a real tour guide who, yeah, she's practiced, like, to tell people what they need to know. But it's not rehearsed, faux, good old boy talk. You know what I mean? And then you see way more on the Budweiser tour. They don't care if you video everything. Not to mention that what you get after the tour is almost a no holds bar tasting. I mean, you get the official tasting. What is it? 4, not little sample glasses. No. Big glasses. And then you get the unofficial sampling because the tour guides say, hey, nobody else is here. Try this, try that, try everything. Yay. Hurrah. You know. You get a cap, a tasting glass. You get all that. Not some plastic throwaway cups. All right, enough rant and rave with Ronald. Moonshine, Rube Duck says, have I tried moonshine? No. Not the brand name moonshine. I think I know what you're talking about. I've tried when I went to the Barton distillery, they give you the distillate. You know, it's the clear bourbon, which is what it is. It's clear before they water it down, cut it. They call it cutting it, and then they put it in the barrel. I mean, that was just like one tiny sip would just knock you, bring you to one knee. It's nearly 100% alcohol. And then the girl was like, just take a little sip. They're letting everybody sip out the same glass. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that spread germs? She said, now with this alcohol, no germs going to live on this glass. It's so antiseptic. I said, yeah, that's a good point. That was just unbelievable. All right, enough jibber jabber, enough talk. We've done the tasting. The next tasting is going to be Ancient Age versus Jim Beam Choice. When will that be? More than likely, it won't be till next Tuesday. Don't think it'll be much of a contest. Time will tell. And then we'll just keep going down the line, like a little rotation, right? And then we'll bring the JT Boots into play. Jethro T Boots, which is a private label, but remarkably good for what you're getting. Thanks, folks.